All right. I'm Trina with Run Radio and this artist spotlight. Okay, I want to make sure because Renee and it's Michelle, right?
Correct.
And so it's Renelle or
Correct.
okay.
Yeah.
Here's what's kind of I take personal for me. My middle name is Rochelle. My sister's middle name is Renee. So
Oh, that's so
my
funny.
brain here, I'm just like, wait a minute, make sure I say this right.
That's so funny. Oh my God.
So how long have you ladies been doing music?
Oh my. Well, she actually started before me. So she's our
Well,
drummer.
it started many years ago with a little bit of a break in between, but for, I don't know, 30 years.
Oh God, yes. And she started as a,
I mean, we started really as kids.
she really started as kids. I started more junior high, but she really took to the drums when you were in grammar school, I think.
I was just a little kid.
In grammar school. And it's just,
Yeah.
something that she just stuck with.
Yeah.
So were you always the choir kids, band kids, or did you just kind of keep that more at home and then do other things in school?
Choir wasn't a big thing when we were growing up. I think it's much more today. We had choir growing up. I was in the choir. Were you in the choir in middle school?
No, not until college.
Okay.
I did choir.
Anyway, but really, we were always drawn to music. I can remember as a kid in the 4th grade, desperately wanting to take music lessons.
Yes.
And I went to our mother wanting to play the flute so bad. I just saw this shiny instrument with all these buttons, and I just desperately wanted to get my hands on it. Of course, Renee then wanted to partake in it as well. And my mom said, well, it's going to be a little expensive trying to rent 2 flutes. Maybe you can choose something else. So my brother had some drums, just really a little snare drum, a cymbal, and a practice pad. So I thought, well, if my brother does that, that's pretty cool. I'm going to do it too. Then the rest is history. Renee ended up taking clarinet, then moving on to guitar. But as kids, just always drawn to music. We had a little organ in the house. Like I said, we spent time in choir, and then I joined the high school band.
Yeah.
Okay.
And high school came around.
Yeah, and then high school, and then there you have it.
Okay. So then you get through all of that. Then what makes you decide, hey, let's try to do this thing on our own? Or did you already just know you were gonna? Was it just kind of like innate?
I think it was always a given. It
Yeah.
was just always there. A band was always in the future. Pursuing a career in music just seemed the natural path to take. And we did. And we did.
Yeah, I don't even think it was ever a discussion. It was just like, oh yeah, this is just what we're gonna do.
Yeah, it's just what we do. We're always drawn to it and just continued on with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Cover songs, writing your own songs, both?
Both.
Definitely both. The CD, of course, is originals.
Yeah.
But a lot of places do demand covers if you're not a big, huge act. So we do both. You know, we will incorporate originals in with the covers and stuff like that.
So are you doing music full time, or is there other things on your plate too that keep you afloat?
Mostly full time,
Yeah.
almost full time. I can say that.
Yeah.
And that's what we can both say. But Renee also works.
Oh yeah, we after COVID, it's been a long haul getting back into. I've recently moved from Los Angeles to Florida, so we are now in Florida.
Oh,
So
okay.
now after COVID has hit, all the bands that are here that have been working regularly, they're the ones that get in first, right? And so now we've been playing shows and gigs, and we've done some festivals, which are just the best.
Yeah.
And so it's been a slow climb getting back in, but we are getting there. And so we are, I would say, almost getting to full time, which is our goal.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking earlier about social media, and that's how we connected, which is a great platform for that kind of thing. Were you able to harness and hone in on social media during COVID and using it now to just connect with your audience in a way that you could never before?
Oh, absolutely. I
Yeah.
think during COVID, it was really the only thing you could do.
Yep.
So we were doing all of those, positive things. We had a song out called "Do the Right Thing," that was really kind of like the COVID song, just kind of be part of the cure, be part of let's get through this together, just something positive. But really, that was your only means. You couldn't go out and play. We could record. I mean, but that's a given. You could always, write and record,
Right.
but to get out there, it was nothing.
Yeah, it was tough. But like my sister always says, don't focus on what you can't do, focus on what you can do.
Yeah, which is
Yes.
hard to do. When you were able to get back out there, were you nervous all over again, or were you just thrilled to be back?
Both.
I
Very
think
nervous,
it was-
very thrilled.
I think it was both, because you think, oh, I've done this so much, but then you
Mhm.
realize, wow, I'm going to get back out there, and oh, I am nervous, but I am a little bit, I haven't done this in a while, so I don't want to be too sure of myself,
Yeah. What's a show like for you? Your genre is a little bit country, a little bit alternative.
Yeah, I would say we kind of classify ourselves, if you will, as like a country rock Americana
Okay.
type of
Mhm.
music. Yeah.
So do you have all ages at your shows, or what's it kind of like? What's the vibe, if you could?
Well, at festivals, which are wonderful, all ages. That's what
Awesome.
makes festivals, part of what makes festivals so great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially when you see kids dancing, or when
Yes.
kids want to come up to you and talk to you. That's actually wonderful. Festivals, I think, have a great vibe, but typically if we are doing anything else, like where we played, if it's like a bar or something like that, typically that's your adult crowd, but
Yeah.
but
more
very
adult.
but very well received, and we play to the crowd. We want to play to that crowd, whatever that establishment requires. Sometimes we'll get requests. Sometimes even that owner or something will say, hey, could you throw in a little bit of this for me or that for me? And sure, we'll do it.
Yeah. Do you appreciate that? Do you like it when there are you do. Okay.
Oh, when we get the feedback, you mean from the response from the audience?
That, or when like a bar owner, club owner is like, hey, will you do this? Do you like that? Or is it kind of, yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
that
good
doesn't
with that.
bother me.
no big
Yeah,
deal.
I'm good with
No,
that.
that doesn't bother
It,
us
it,
at
it
all.
pleases me if we are actually able to deliver on the spot.
Yeah,
that's good.
exactly. If it's like, if it's a request right then and there, but if it's a prior request,
Mhm.
it's not a problem.
Yeah.
So tell me about your album.
Our album
Where is our
was,
album?
here it is, our album.
Yes. love
This
it.
is a 6-song CD, and we did that, and don't you know it, we finished it right as COVID started. So,
Yeah.
so we pushed all the momentum we could via internet and stuff like that, and thank God we had that outlet. And the album, as we titled it, is called Interrupted, and basically there's no title song to that or anything. It's just a project that life hits you at different things that as we grow up, we don't know is going to happen, but it does. And sometimes that diverts us,
Yes.
it detours us into something else. And so it was kind of a long awaited thing to happen. And instead of doing 16 songs or anything like that, we wanted to use what we had and what we had been waiting to finish recording and whatnot. And so
Yeah.
we put it out, and I have to say, it was very well received by quite a lot of our independent through the United States. We actually had some in Britain, some play in Britain, which means a lot if you're going across the pond, and it was wonderful. So now it's something we're still running with. And it's like, just as we finished, we were like, oh my God, we can't even do a gig to do it. It literally, COVID was upon us when this came out, but that's okay, because it's still material we're working with.
Well, when we recorded this CD, it was across the miles because my sister was still living in Los Angeles.
Right.
And I lived here. I was living here in Florida. She wasn't here yet.
Right.
So I was flying back and forth, and we were recording. We had that one gig
Oh, yeah.
that we did. That was great. So it took a lot to get it done.
It
And
did.
now finally, you know, the band is back together and we're all here in Florida
Right.
and we can really pursue it.
So how
Yeah.
many years did you work together, but you were in different destinations, different
10 years.
10?
Yeah.
Wow. I
Yeah.
bet that was tough. What made you keep going at it when you had that big barrier of being apart?
Well, like you said earlier, with the help of all these new tools with social media and such things, made it a lot easier.
Right.
So we were able to do that, and not doing it never really crossed our minds. It's
Right.
just, we always did it. And I always knew that one day when the time was right, we would come back together.
Right.
Hence the title Interrupted.
Right.
And we are no longer interrupted.
And we both had other projects we were working with, because
Yes.
as a musician, you're picking up work in other places, right?
Mhm.
So
Right.
she had a working band. I was working with some guys in LA, and I have to tell you, it taught me a lot. It was a blast. I came here and I looked at how she advanced. So I think the time apart was actually let us each develop separately.
Yes.
And it was really, it's funny how they say it was a blessing in disguise.
Yes.
And so now that, like when we worked together, when we were earlier, earlier in our career, let's say, it feels so different now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel so much more grown up
Yeah. Yeah.
in doing the whole thing, just because of my own personal journey I took myself and the confidence I had to build. And there was a lot of work thrown at me that I kind of had to step in and do it. And there's nothing like, just having your feet held to the fire.
Mhm.
And it happened. And I think I'm better for it. And I think I'm better to be a better partner to her.
That's
now.
great. I love that you both recognize that you could still work together and still build your own skill sets while apart, and coming together just now it's made you stronger.
I think so. I think it's
Absolutely.
important. I think it's important.
I feel like
Absolutely.
I think that's a good lesson for a lot of people that feel like that is one more reason they can't work on their project. They'll let that hold them back. And I think that's great that you proved that, don't let it.
Oh, no. And if she got called for a gig tomorrow or something else to do, I mean, I get a kick out of that. First of all, I would love just going to see her play, just the pride I have.
Yeah.
But just that if somebody else would want to call on her and that other experience or that additional work that she can get, I would love that. But that doesn't deter us from doing what we do, because we call it you're a working musician.
Yeah.
So just like everybody else and other friends we have, they're just moving and shaking in other directions of doing what they have to do. It's
Yeah.
the life of, if you want to keep gigging,
Yeah.
So all of that being said, do you have any more advice that you would give the other independents out there struggling, whether it be music or any other business, gig, art, and they keep having these barriers, because it does wear you out when you're trying to work, have a family, and then try to live your dream? What advice would you give them to keep going for the hustle, keep moving?
That's good, because there are times where you get discouraged, but I keep focused. I like I said earlier, I don't focus on what I can't do, focus on what I can do. And I keep very focused, very disciplined, and I keep moving forward, try to keep a positive attitude, and I envision what's coming.
Yeah.
I see it, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then you make it come to fruition.
Yeah.
So yes, I keep moving forward all the time. I don't look back.
The arts in that respect, and especially when you're running your radio station,
Mhm.
there's been many a times, I'm sure many of artists have felt in all types of art, I'm just going to pack it in. I don't know if I can do this another day. People have other stresses in their life, but they know they're getting up and going to a job, and sometimes it's feast or famine with the art. Sometimes we're
Sure.
just boom, 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 we're going. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, what do I do with myself?
Mhm.
But I often think, okay, would I be happier without it, or would I be happier with what I am doing?
Yeah.
And these are sometimes tough questions in life that we have to answer. But
Yeah.
I know that getting back into it, I'm much happier for it, than of letting it go.
Yeah.
Do you ever come up on those days where you really do question if you're not happier for it, and how do you recognize the difference, if that makes sense? Because, like you said, those dips they plummet sometimes. So how do you realize, like, no, this is just a downtime, and not let it drown you?
Well,
Ebbs and flows, ebbs and flows.
I guess I can say up to this point, I've never wanted to leave it. There has been the down points. There's times I get discouraged, hence people not responding or calling you back. And you're trying so hard, but I still don't want to leave it. It just makes me too happy. And if it makes me happy, then I keep doing it. If the day comes where I go, well, this doesn't really make me happy anymore, then I'll
Yeah.
choose again. But right now it makes me happy. So you take maybe the good with the not so good, and you just keep chugging along.
It's a constant balancing act, and it's a constant conversation with yourself. Just saying, okay, today I'm not flowing. Today I'm just feeling this, but let me see how I feel tomorrow. I don't want to make any knee-jerk reactions.
Sure.
So how am I going to feel tomorrow? Can I let this body of work go, or all this hours I've spent doing this? Do I really want to let that go? And the love I get from the people I work with, because I've met some of the most wonderful people in the world with the musicians I've worked with, and that their relationships I'll probably have for the rest of my life.
It's probably the best part.
Yeah.
You guys meditate?
I have in the past, but I don't. No, I don't right now.
Yeah.
No.
I'm more of the yoga type. I
Okay.
love
Yes.
doing yoga. That's
That is
kind of
big on
my
yoga.
meditation.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
seem very connected with recognizing and feeling your feelings, but knowing how not to stay in them. If,
Mhm.
it just seemed.
It's, if you were talking to me maybe some years ago when I was a kid or whatever, no, that young mind, that adolescent mind would not, the beauty of, as each year, as we get older, the beauty of this recognition of how to get through, get through life. And sometimes I say, if, we're talking and she's like, oh, I'm trying to set this up, or we're trying to get this done. And I'm like, not a bad problem to have though. Right. So I go, okay, this is like work. Somebody trying to save a business, somebody trying to do this. It's a business.
Yeah.
On that end, that's the business end.
Yeah,
That's not
yeah.
the creative end.
Creative end is fun.
The
That's
creative end
easy.
is fun, and it's getting out there,
Right.
Do you have anything that you do to get yourself in the flow, or get your creative juices going? Do you run? Do you walk? Do you have anything like that that's your other outlet, energy outlet?
Yeah, I've always been a big advocate for exercise.
Same.
I've always enjoyed, I'm one of those, I
Yeah.
enjoyed going to the gym. I ride my bike most days. I try to do a combination of, some floor routine, stretching, Pilates, things like that, because I find it really keeps my mind straight. And when I mentally and physically feel good,
Yeah.
I mean, that goes a long way in every aspect of life. And I try to start my day off that way. Exercise always first, health first, right? Take
Right.
care of yourself. You can take care of others. And then, it's usually a good day.
Yeah.
So,
And that's been an influence on me.
Good.
She was more of the go-getter to get to the gym. That's influenced me. And if I am having a rough day or whatever, even if I do a half hour of yoga or some jazzercise, because I love to incorporate dance.
Yes.
Like, that's it. It clears my mind.
yeah.
Or just a really strong cup of coffee.
Yeah, that helps too.
Sometimes a good old cup of coffee.
Yes.
You had mentioned earlier, focus is one of the things that, keeps you balanced, keeps you moving forward. What's a tip for focusing when you realize things are getting blurry? How do you focus back in?
Sometimes just take a break.
Okay.
I walk away. I do that more now than I ever did before. So I take things in smaller spurts now. So instead of practicing for, 2-3 hours straight and forcing myself to do that, and if I don't practice for 3 hours straight, I forget it. It's been a terrible day. No, I take things in small doses, and it's cumulative. It all adds up. And if it's not working, then sometimes I just have to leave it for the day and go back. Yep. Sometimes you just have to clear it out. Sometimes I leave it for a few days
Yeah.
And then well, I try not to let anything bother me too much, and I just go back and I try again. That's all you can do, I guess.
Just
Right.
like in music, rest is important.
That's
So
right.
rest.
That's right.
That's right.
It's
rest
like
service is
writing.
important.
If I'm say if I go through writing spurts, I'm not a everyday sit down, write. I get these moments, and when the moments happen, that's when I take advantage of it. But I could be working on a song and I could say, wow, this is just, what am I doing here? This is just sounding like terrible. And then I'll just have to I put the book away, or maybe I leave lyrics out, and then I'll walk by it and I kind of read my lyrics. Oh, okay. Then I'll walk back and stuff like that. You can't really force a creative process. At least I can't. So it's just walk away, and I'll go do another project, and another project could be, I love, I do art, not painting. I'm not a painter, but I curate art for my late father-in-law for his archives. And I will go shift my focus to something like that. And it's beautiful.
Yes, and she's brought me into that world. And really both worlds connect, being artistic. And I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Everything
our
that our mother was actually quite a painter. I have such an appreciation for art, and learning of her late father-in-law's body of work, the different styles, and her teaching me about that. And I like to help her and my brother-in-law in the business. It's been wonderful.
Yeah. So we do have all this creativity surrounding us, so we can
focus elsewhere sometimes.
Yeah. And sometimes, you know what I'd like to do? I just like to go for a walk.
Yes.
I just like to walk. I really do.
Connecting with nature. And you guys are so talented. I am thrilled that we got to talk, that you found Run Radio, and that we will be playing your music. Tell everyone where they can go learn more about you, your social, connect with you, find you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
for today.
we'll be
Really
hitting you up, and thank you so much. Like I said, thank you for the invite. For the invite, and it's very appreciated.
It's been a pleasure meeting and speaking with you.
Yeah.
Yes. So where can people find you? Find your music? Where do you want them to connect with you?
Oh, you can go to reneletheband.com. You can find us on Spotify. You can find music also on the website. You can find us on what was it, CD Baby? I mean, we're on all the platforms.
Awesome.
All the platforms.
You can go there. Let us know what you think. What does something mean to you?
Yeah. Yeah, really.
Feedback is always appreciated.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
You too.
Yeah, you too.
Stay well, and hopefully we'll see you again.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.